Esto es lo que está pasando ahora mismo. Mira cómo se mueve el puto coche, tú. Mira, pobrecito este tú.
Rain returned to Ibiza this Saturday. In just 1 hour, the impact of Dan Alice was devastating, with flooded streets, damaged cars, affected businesses, and traffic jams in Ibiza Town, Sant Josep, and Santa Eulària. Meanwhile, in Sant Antoni, cumulative rainfall of 100 liters per square meter was recorded early this morning. The road to the airport was closed after being flooded again, as it was on September 30th. Flights were diverted to other airports, and almost all arrivals and departures on the island were delayed. The island of Formentera also suffered from the impact of Dana, with flooding, cars trapped underwater, and power outages in various parts of the island since early this morning. On Ignacy Wallace Avenue, one of the most affected areas, pedestrians were knee-deep in water. Several vehicles were stranded in the middle of the road due to flood damage. The Aes Pradet area was once again the worst affected. Water rushed down Avenida de Santa Eulària like a natural torrent, where containers were knocked over, motorbikes fell, and sewers burst under the pressure. The scene was reminiscent of the floods that occurred just 10 days ago, although the intensity was slightly lower in the Ibiza area. On Pedro Franques Street, water again entered several businesses, as it does every time there is heavy rain. Property damage could be significant. On the outskirts of the city, flooding from the overflowing Sedons River caused significant traffic congestion on Cam Vel de Sant Antoni. Police were forced to intervene to direct traffic and prevent vehicles from being swept away by the current, as seen in the video below. In the Sant Josep area, the Sant Agustí area, and Cala de Bou were also affected by the storm. Within minutes, terraces and streets were flooded, water rushed over dry stone walls, and many rural homes were inundated. In some homes, water managed to enter and cause damage to private houses. This all happened in about an hour, but was enough to collapse many areas in Ibiza.
Espero que no haya nadie ahí adentro, porque si no vaya ruina.
The day was also marked by a new warning from Civil Protection, which sent an emergency message to mobile phones in Ibiza and Formentera at 5:20 p.m. The message urged maximum vigilance due to the expected heavy rain, with clear instructions to avoid travel, Stay away from swift currents, rivers, or flood-prone areas, and seek shelter upstairs in case of flooding. This was the second time in history that this type of warning had been activated in the Pitiusas Islands after the previous one was issued on September 30th when heavy rain resumed. The State Meteorological Agency, AMET, reactivated the orange storm warning for Ibiza and Formentera at 5 o'clock p.m., after it had been downgraded to yellow for several hours due to the adverse weather conditions. In some areas, rainfall accumulations of up to 40 millimeters were recorded in 1 hour. Below you can see the condition of the Ibiza Airport Road, completely flooded and cars stuck, in a video recorded by the Civil Guard. In light of these developments, the Santa Eulària City Council has suspended all planned city activities. The performance of the play A Ruda de Vueltas at the Teacher Hispania has been cancelled, as has the bread-making workshop scheduled for tomorrow at Can Andrew de Troyes. No! Furthermore, residents are reminded not to dispose of large amounts of waste during these days to avoid risks and facilitate the work of emergency teams. Among the main incidents reported in Santa Eulària were the power outage of the pump at the water tank on Calario Orinoco and the damage to the central stormwater drain at East Kinnar Beach. Both issues have been resolved by the city's engineering services. In Formentera, the storm also left a significant impact, particularly on the electricity supply. A power outage that began early last night left much of the island without power, including Midjorn, Pai Dev Catala, Es Malpa, Canpera, and Escal, although the outage was resolved by 7:21 p.m. However, a new incident recorded at 4:18 p.m. left 1,091 customers on the Savina line without power, affecting areas such as Sestini de Peaks, Portosale, and Colassona. The E10, Santa Eulària, and Ignacy Wallace roads, as well as Pere Francis Street, are currently closed to traffic. Areas such as the Bristle Building and the East Pradet neighborhood, where flooding has caused further damage, have also been severely affected. Mayor Rafael Triguero appealed to the public to remain calm and emphasized that the top priority is ensuring public safety. He also urged the public to follow instructions provided by official channels.